So how do you go from making films that look like this to films that look more like this? Well, the truth is that there's a whole lot of information out there and a whole lot to consider. You may think it has everything to do with the camera system and camera settings and even the color grade. All of that is important, but what if I told you that it actually has a lot less to do with all of that and a lot more to do with a few things that are far more important? There is a lot of things that I learned on my own filmmaking journey over the last 10 or so years that I'd like to share with you today to hopefully help your filmmaking journey. And the best part is, if you apply the tips that are in this video, you will become one of the folks who reach their goals and make a living as a full-time filmmaker, guaranteed. So let's get into it. Hey, what's happening, everyone? My name is Ryan, and if you're new with us, welcome. I truly appreciate you being here. Today, we're diving into some tips based off of my own filmmaking journey and the things that I've learned along the way that have truly elevated my career. But it's important to remember that your success and timeline is going to be highly based off of how you apply these tips and your unique experiences in your own journey. It really all boils down to your dedication for learning and practicing and all of those things. And because you're here watching this video, I know that you're dedicated to the craft and ready to elevate your next film. All right, enough of all that. Let's get into the video. It hasn't been a better time to become a filmmaker because of technology that is accessible to us on the market today. But unfortunately, it's not enough to have the most expensive gear or the most popular gear that's being talked about today. Filmmaking, just like any craft, has many elements to it, and it just takes reps to fully understand it, which is the first tip in this video, and that is practice as often as you can. Now, I know this sounds simple, but let me explain. Filmmaking can be very fun and super simple if you know what to look for. However, the secret to getting to that point of knowing what to look for and how to film a scene and how to light a scene, that really comes with dedicated time to practicing the techniques and gaining the knowledge you'll need to make a film or a video over time. You have to learn the craft, you have to learn all the different skills and techniques in terms of lighting and composition and framing and all of the other elements that create a beautiful image. The best part about this, though, is that you can have a proof of concept with the things that you've practiced, and I guarantee you the more that you do this and the more you build your portfolio, the more jobs you'll get coming your way. There is a whole lot that goes into making a video or a film, and when you're on set, there are a lot of decisions that you have to make on the fly, and everybody is relying on you to make them. So the more you practice, the more prepared you're gonna be in that moment. All of these things are gonna help in the end and make you more desirable. And I promise, the more that you practice and the more that you just make films, the more work you're gonna have to show potential clients or producers or anybody else, and the more likely you'll get hired for the job. Tip number 2 is a big one, and that is to study other filmmakers. Every filmmaker out there that's ever made a movie or a film or a video has studied other films. But honestly, it doesn't even need to be a film. It could be anything else. For me personally, I get inspired by things like 1920s graphic design. My wife and I, we were on a date and we were looking at all this old architecture and walking into these old bookstores and antique stores, and that inspired a couple of projects. The truth is that every filmmaker or even creative is inspired by someone else's work. Every idea comes from another idea or multiple ideas to form one. So I just want to encourage you, it's okay to find that inspiration from other filmmakers. And it really is a powerful tool in elevating your films and the work that you do. Sit down and watch one of your favorite movies and see how they lit that scene. Study the sound design, the story, and how they transition from one scene to the next. There's so many elements to the filmmaking process, so it really does help to see what other people are doing so that we can implement some of that into our films too. It doesn't mean that you have to copy it word for word or scene by scene or even the color grade or any of that. You're definitely gonna find your own style as you move along in your career, but it is helpful to see how other people are doing things. All of that stuff is going to inspire new ideas and help you along your journey and truly elevate your films. But now that we've established that it's okay to study other filmmakers, what does that actually look like? Well, if your goal is to become a cinematic travel vlogger, then definitely sit down and watch channels that are similar to that niche. If your goal is to create a sci-fi film, then study the movies, directors, and cinematographers from your favorite films in that genre. This is something I did earlier on in my career and will still do to this day because it helps me to grow and learn new techniques and really push myself as a filmmaker to do things that I normally wouldn't have if I didn't watch or study these cinematographers or those films.
Works remotely.
Okay. Tip number 3 is to ask for feedback and to ask for help. This is one that took me way too long to figure out. In the beginning of my career, there was a significant amount of time, probably way too long of a time, where I just worked by myself. And it totally made sense. I was new to the craft. I didn't really know anything or anybody, so it was just easier and a lot more efficient to just try and figure things out on my own. But I quickly found early on that when I collaborated with people on a project, it truly made the project so much better. Now, this doesn't have to be a collaboration with another filmmaker or even another YouTuber if that is the space you're in. You can just start with friends and family. For me, in the beginning, it started when I would just ask my wife her opinion on the projects that I was working on, and she would give me her honest feedback, and then I would take that feedback and try to make the film better. After I was comfortable with that, I started to ask other family and then friends for their honest opinion. Eventually, when I started to take on client jobs, I was starting to get feedback from them, and this is the most valuable feedback that you can get because they know what they want, they know their vision, and they're helping you in this way to make the film better. Now I have a team of people who watch the films, they study them, and then they let me know their feedback because everybody's on the same page and has the same goal of making our films the best that they could be. And this has truly elevated my work. But it's not enough just to ask for feedback. It's tremendously helpful when I get to hire a crew to help me on set. Now, if you don't have it within the budget to hire a crew, no worries. You could just bring on a family member or a friend. And most of the time they want to help. They want to see you succeed in your career. And for anybody who hasn't been on a set, this could be really exciting. So they might just want to be there. You'll be surprised how many of your friends and your family want to help out and share that experience with you. Now, I totally get it. It can hurt a little bit to get any kind of feedback about your films, especially negative feedback. And it can also be extremely difficult to work with other people and express your vision and have everyone work as one unit to execute that vision. But I've truly learned over the years that when I allow people to come in and offer me feedback or help on a film set, the quality in my work has become exponentially better, and I am just able to free my mind of all the other things that you have to do when making a film, and I get to just focus on the things that I want to focus on, therefore making these films a whole lot better. Plus, it's just so much more fun working with other people, so there you go. This next tip is super simple but extremely important, and unfortunately it's commonly overlooked, and that is to just make films or videos. There is a saying that I heard a long time ago that really stuck with me, and the saying goes, you can't steer a parked car. It has to be moving. And the same goes for filmmaking or anything really. Let's take this YouTube channel, for example. I had been contemplating starting a channel for a long time before I ever published my first video. But I'm really glad that I did because that first video I published taught me a lot about how to make YouTube videos and what to do next and prepared me for the next video. And that next video equipped me and prepared me for the third video and so on and so forth. I was getting better and better each video that I would publish, and hopefully by now they're better than they were before. There are so many wonderful people that I've met and opportunities that have come my way, and I never would have had any of that if I hadn't published that first one. The same goes for making videos or becoming a filmmaker. So if you're like me and you're passionate about filmmaking and you know that this is the career path that you want to take, then I just want to encourage you to just start, even today if possible. Grab your camera, a tripod, or even just your phone and film a scene on your own. Practice composition, framing, lighting, all the different things and elements that go into making a film or a video. And then just make that first film or video and get it up for people to see. It most likely is going to be a little messy in the beginning, and you might even get frustrated from time to time. It's not always going to be easy, and you might not necessarily get all the projects that inspire you in the beginning. But if you truly love the filmmaking process, then it'll never feel like work. And the truth is, the longer that you wait, the longer it's going to take for you to reach your goals. So I just want to encourage you to start as soon as possible. But let's say you have started and you've been at it a little while and you're starting to feel frustrated and stuck. Well, I could truthfully say you're not alone. Every filmmaker at one point or another feels this way, and it's a hard one to get through. So I just want to encourage you with this next tip, and probably one of the most important tips in this video, and that is stay the course and don't give up. If you are passionate about filmmaking or making videos, and you know for a fact, without a doubt, that this is the career path that you want to take, then you have to find a way to fight the urge to quit and just keep going. That doesn't mean to do more and potentially burn out. That just means keep going. What does that look like? That could be, I'm gonna write a few words of my script today. I'm gonna film this video today. I'm gonna edit a little bit of last week's video, whatever it might be. Either way, just keep going, keep moving forward in that goal of being a filmmaker or making content full time, because I promise you, the more persistent that you are and the more that you keep going, the easier it's gonna get and the more opportunities are gonna come your way. But I don't just wanna leave you with don't give up. So here are a few tips that have helped me personally to stay the course and just keep going. The first is know your why. Why did I start doing this in the first place? For me, it always takes me back to my 8-year-old self when I made my very first film. And not so much a film, I didn't even know it was called that back in those days. I wanted to make a movie. That was it. I remember the day when I watched certain movies in the theater and it just clicked with me, and I just felt so passionate from that moment on forward. Even to this day, I still feel like that little kid in the theater watching these movies, and it really inspired me and made me want to tell my own stories. And for me, it really helps to motivate me to stay the course and just keep going. I actually made this sticker to help remind me. One other thing that has truly helped me a lot in a season of I just want to give up is surrounding myself with a support system. People who support you and want to see you succeed in your career. This could be anyone from friends online to family members to your spouse, a really good friend, a best friend, a colleague, or even another filmmaker or video creator. These are people that are not just going to encourage you and support you, but also push you when you need it to do bigger and better things. And it's all because they want to see you succeed. I've done this personally in many aspects of my life, and these are people that are an incredibly huge part of the success that I have this far, especially my wife. I wouldn't be anywhere without her. Filmmaking, like any career, takes time and persistence before you can become successful at it. But the good news is, with the technology today and the knowledge we have accessible to us today, it may not take as long as you think. Remember, it's all up to you. Your experiences, unique vision of the world, and persistence and passion on your own journey that will truly pave the way to your successes. If you're dedicated to the craft, always learning, practice often, and can find the joy in all aspects of the journey, you will, I guarantee you, you will reach your goals before you know it. And if you made it this far in the video, I know that you're all of those things, and I just want to encourage you and want you to know that you got this. Well, that's gonna do it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. If you like this video or you learned something, please click the like button down below. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, friends.